When you think about it, you don't really have a business if you don't have clients who buy what you want to sell. And because in these days it is rare for you to have a monopoly, the amount you sell to them and their value to you depends on your relationship with them. So it makes sense to manage these relationships as well as you can to maximize their value. And there you have it, customer relationship management. All businesses do CRM. Some do it well and succeed, and some do it badly and don't. Some businesses do this by using one single database to manage the whole client journey. And that makes these CRM systems mission critical because if it doesn't work or fails, it stops your business working much more than, for example, an emailing system. If that fails, you can always find other ways of making contact. The same is true of your word processing package, spreadsheet program, and so on. That is why, when you reset or change your CRM system, it is not like upgrading any other piece of software. For both reasons, decisions about what new CRM system to use or whether to reset the one you already have is really about strategy rather than IT and tactics. Most projects fail because this isn't sufficiently understood. This is why the fast to live process to design or reset your CRM is so deeply rooted in strategy. The process we follow starts with identifying your purpose, then how you want to live that purpose through your principles and practices, and from that define what you want the CRM to do for you. Fans of Simon Sinek will recognize this as the golden circle. I'm providing a link to some resources which you may find interesting, including Sinek's famous TED Talk, which still has the power to inspire even today. The process we use also draws on appreciative inquiry, which is an approach to change that follows the discover, dream, design, and destiny loop. Again, I've provided some additional resources for those interested. Finally, the transition plan we introduce owes much to William Bridges' transition model. While this process has deep roots, I have consciously stayed away from making this overly technical, and hopefully it is something that you and your team will find it fun and inspiring to be part of. I can't promise you it will be easy. It will take effort, but the work you put in now will determine the success of your CRM project and whether you will get the return on investment you hope for. A lot of people think that purpose is the same as vision and mission, an aspiration of what you would like the business to look like. This aspiration is often agreed by a group of people who are charged with leading the business and inspiring others. The problem is that this is rarely the aspiration of the people who need to deliver it. The aspiration itself is also likely to be boilerplated and crafted by a marketing team as part of a brand, which leads to cynicism at best from the people involved, which means that they don't deliver these values to the clients and prospects, which undermines the brand's positioning. The true purpose of a business is not an aspiration, but what the business is actually about, the whole business, including your team if you have one. You know what this is when the people involved feel most alive and proud of the business they work for. If you're running a micro business, that may be you. If you are new to business, you may need to draw on past experiences. At bottom, it is not an aspiration, but why your business exists now. CRM is how you live this purpose in your practices and processes, and then what you actually do day to day that the client or prospect experiences. A CRM system is what you use to ensure your client gets this experience every time and you fulfill your brand promise. The hardest thing to achieve is to change what you do. Machiavelli put it this way: there is nothing more difficult to take in hand, more perilous to conduct, or more uncertain in its success than to take the lead in the introduction of a new order of things. The reason for this is that change is so often defined in negative terms. Most CRM projects, for example, will try and identify problems that need to be solved and ask questions like, what are we doing wrong now? And what do we need to stop doing that we have always done? That means change is bought at the price of people thinking about why the business and what they know about it is bad. That then sets the tone for the whole project as something negative. And because this change is unfamiliar, the people involved fear the loss of the world that they feel comfortable with, maybe for their whole careers. And introducing something new, which they fear they may not be able to adapt to. There is a different way, which is to discover what is great about what you and your people are doing and ask affirmative questions. Once we have identified why, the next step is to understand what living this purpose looks like. It's important to discover how your business lives by its principles and value when it is at its best. But how do you make this happen all the time? The traditional approach is to identify how far you are from this now through gap analysis. However, once again, this results in a negative way of thinking and mindset. A more positive approach is to imagine that this ideal future had already been achieved and then visualize what this would look like. If you have a team who you will rely on to deliver this success, then it is important that they are the ones doing this visualization because they are closer to the day-to-day reality of managing client relationships, and their vision about what the new world needs to look like will be better informed. It also means that the people you want to deliver are more likely to buy into what you want to do. Now we have the information we need to start thinking about the practical questions of what you need to do to make what you have visualized happen and how your people will need to be supported to achieve this. This is where the rubber hits the road, where defining what your CRM needs to look like to ensure that your business is always the best it can be by living the principles and practices that underpin what you're about as a business when you're at your best. So, will you succeed in your CRM project? This depends on, do you or your people buy into your purpose? Do they and you buy into how you and they will live that purpose? Have they played a part in defining what needs to be done to achieve this? Are you ready for the transition? That means letting go of the old, loss of the way we have always done things, and realizing it will get worse before it gets better. Working through the neutral zone, not sure if it's going to work, and embracing the new, excitement and engagement turning to ownership.